This is Kirk Sinclair, the hiking humanitarian, and I'm sitting across the table from Father Don Mueller, who in between us is an ugly quilt. So, Father, could you share with us what an ugly quilt is, how it's made, and what it's being used for?
An ugly quilt is made from scrap fabric, sheets and blankets and stuff, and they sew 2 7-foot squares together, and then they put stuffing in between. It could be blankets, it can be old sweaters or sweatshirts, any fabric to go between, and then about every foot or so, you don't have, the only thing you have to actually sew are the 7-foot squares, and then they just do they make a little X with string and a needle about every foot to hold the stuffing together, and then they sew it around the edge, and it's a sleeping bag, except there's no zipper on the side, so people can slide in. And while they say they're ugly, the idea is that they don't have any value for somebody who want to steal, like a fancy sleeping bag, but they keep people warm and have a bed to sleep in. And then they use old men's ties to tie it together so it can be rolled up and carried around.
And who makes these here in your parish?
Our 10th through 12th graders took it on as a mission project. Trouble keeping them going. But they wanted to do something, and so we gave them a whole list of service projects that they might want to do, and they picked this one. So for the last 3 months, they collected fabric from the old fabric that parishioners had around the house, and then asked a couple of people who sewed to do the 7-foot squares. And last Saturday, they put them all together.
And where are these going to?
These are going to go to the inner city, probably in Philadelphia, possibly Camden, but more likely Philadelphia for the homeless there. So many people who live on the streets and don't go into shelters, and that's where these will go.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is Kirk Sinclair.